Be advised, the opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Magandang gabi Pilipinas, maayong gabi sa Tibok Mindanao, Visayas ug sa Luzon. Ako po si Eric Espina at ito po ang inyong Republika. Ito lamang po ang programa sa himpilan ng telebisyon na matapang na naninindigan na kung ipagpapatuloy ng kasalukuyang pamahalaan tulad ng dati, ang usapang pangkapayapaan na nagaganap sa Moro Islamic Liberation Front ay hindi po tayo magkakaroon ng ganap na kapayapaan. Sa English po, this is a misdiagnosis of the true problem in Southern Mindanao. Kinakatigan natin ang ilang mga pananaw mismo ng ilang kasapi ng Liberal Party, katulad nila former Senator at Congressman Pong Biazon, Mayor Lobregat, at iba pang mga leader mismo sa Mindanao na nananawagan na mismo ang problema dyan sa giyera sa Mindanao ay dahil nangingialam ang bansang Malaysia. Sa iba pang mga episode po natin ay naipalabas na natin kung bakit ang Malaysia ay may interes sa kaguluhan dyan sa katimugang Mindanao. Hindi po natin tatantanan, hindi po natin iiwanan yung issue na yan hanggat hindi nakikinig ang pamahalaan ni President Noynoy Aquino sa tunay na nagaganap na problema at sigalot dyan sa katimugang Mindanao. At yung gulo na yan ay walang kinalaman sa Moro Islamic Liberation Front. Yan po ay may kinalaman sa bansang Malaysia. Kaya nasasabi ko sa marami ko na pong kolum, it is time to expel Malaysia from the peace talks. Malinaw po yun. Kaya sa episode na ito ay tatalakayin muli natin ang issue ng Sabah at ang tunay na mapa ng Pilipinas. At gagamitin ko po ang mga salita ng isang dating magiting na Pangulo ng Pilipinas. Ano ba talaga ang nakasalalay sa usapin sa katimugang Mindanao at sa issue ng Sabah? Babasahin ko lang po at sana'y sabayan niyo po ako sa pagbasa. Ipapakita po natin sa ating telebisyon kung ano sinabi ni President Diosdado Macapagal. The claim to Sabah was filed to promote the national interest and security of the Philippines, as well as to discharge the duty of the Republic to protect the rights of Filipino Muslims, particularly the Sultanate, on this matter. To this day, we adhere to our view when the claim was filed that aside from being important to national security, the territory, if reacquired, would be a boon to future generations of Filipinos. It shall be the continuing duty of our posterity to carry on the endeavor to return Sabah to the Philippines. Diyan po naninindigan ang programang ito na walang ibang programa sa buong Pilipinas ay handang manindigan. Kaya po ikinararangal ko po na ibalik itong topic na ito. At ang ating pangunahing guest, unang-una sa lahat, kilala niyo po siya. Siya rin ay magaling na manindigan. Isang profesor sa law, si Datuk Alan Pagia. Siya po ang matatawag nating legal counsel, royal minister for legal affairs ng Sultanate of Sulu, North Borneo and Sabah. Katabi din niya, walang iba, His Royal Highness, Prince Omar Kiram, na dati nang naging guest natin dito na maraming beses. At hindi po tayo magsasawa dahil ito po ang mga susi sa katahimikan dyan sa Mindanao at para po yumaman ang ating Pilipinas. Good evening to both of you. Good evening. Our topic today is the true map of the Philippines. Nagtataka ang mga tao, hindi ba natin suot-suot ang mapa ng Pilipinas sa ating dibdib? Marami uso ngayon itong mga t-shirt na sinusuot nating mapa sa Pilipinas. Hindi ba ito ang tamang mapa ng Pilipinas? What is the true map of the Philippines?
True map of the Philippines must include Sabah and the islands of Spratlys.
Okay.
Because Sabah was a patrimony of the Sultan of Sulu that was granted as gift eternal by the Sultan of Brunei to the Sultan of Sulu, including Palawan and Spratlys in 1658. The Sultan of Sulu sent more than 2,500 Royal Tausug Army warrior force to Brunei to quell the rebellion and install the true Sultan of Brunei to the throne of Brunei. As a consequence, the Sultan of Brunei, who ruled Luzon, Borneo, and Palawan at the time, gave Sabah and Palawan, including Spratlys, to the Sultan of Sulu.
Ano po ba itong mapang hinahawakan ko dito na pwede natin ipakita sa ating mga manonood?
That map is the true map of the Philippines, showing the Philippine Islands, including Sabah or North Borneo below, and Spratly Islands, beside Palawan, the island of Palawan.
Ito po ang dapat ang kabuuang mapa ng Pilipinas.
That should be the map of the Philippines.
Subalit ang sinusuot ng karamihan natin ngayon at ang ipinapakita mga mapa sa iba't ibang mga dampuhalang himpilan sa telebisyon at pati sa mga pahayagan ay isang Pilipinas at isang republikang pungkol o putol lang isang paa. Ganun ho ba? Tama ho ba ito?
Correct.
Okay. Ngayon, magtatanong po tayo. Attorney Alan, pumasok ang Pilipinas sa isang usapang pangkapayapaan sa MILF. Pinag-uusapan ang pagkakaroon at pagbabago ng ARMM na ang magpapatakbo ay siguradong MILF. Ano ang constitutional at legal implications itong maaaring pasuking peace agreement ng Philippines vis-a-vis MILF?
Mukhang kulang sa batayang pangkasaysayan. Mukhang nawala sa usapan yung Tripoli Agreement na matagal nang naghihintay na mabigyang buhay sa pagitan ng MNLF, yung Moro National Liberation Front, at ng ating pamahalaan. Yung obligasyon na kilalanin o bigyan ng buhay ng pamahalaan ng Republika, iyong mga hinihiling dun sa Tripoli Agreement, pabor sa MNLF, ay nasapawan na ng MILF na hindi natin alam kung saan ang galing. Na alam naman natin na sinusuportahan ng Malaysia at ito naman ay hindi makatotohanan dahil sumasapaw doon sa peace agreement na napagkasunduan na sa pagitan ng MNLF at ng ating pamahalaan. Ano na nangyari doon? Kung yun, hindi na isasarado, there is no closure put to it, what more, this new peace agreement. Our people have not been clarified as to the relationship, if any, between the MNLF, which is the legitimate group representing the Tausugs, as against the MILF, which is a splinter group supported by a foreign power.
Ang MNLF, ito ang kilala ng OIC, based on a resolution from Kuala Lumpur.
That is correct.
Ano ang personalidad ngayon ng MILF dito sa usaping pangkapayapaan at bakit binibigyan ng importansya ng gobyerno? Sapagkat ba ay meron silang puwersa? Yung ba nagiging basihan ng pagpasok ng kahit sinong gobyerno sa isang usapang pangkapayapaan porket meron kang lakas o meron kang kakayahan sa dahas?
Dalawang maliwanag na dahilan dyan. Una, kaya nilang manggulo. Dahil meron konting pera,
Okay.
meron silang pambili ng barel,
Okay.
meron silang pambili ng bala, grupo lang ng kung ilang daan pwede ka na manggulo. Ang pangalawang dahilan, kinilala nitong pamahalang ito, yung MILF, katulad nung nakaraang pamahalaan. Gayong, meron ng usapan ng pagkilala dun sa grupo ng MNLF na siyang mas nakahihigit ang bilang na kaya nga napigilan yung gulo dahil doon sa kanila. Ngayon, nanggulo pa rin yung MILF. Ito naman ang binibigyan ng pansin sa halip na yung kapayapaan na naging bunga ng pagkakasundo sa pagitan ng pamahalaan at ng MNLF.
Nakikita nyo ba na parang ipinipilit pa rin natin ang isang bagay na inaayawan na ng mga iba't ibang lalawigan sa Katimugang Mindanao? Parang ipinipilit natin Ilang beses na yan na parang inayawan ng mga mismong mga Filipino Muslims doon na ayaw nila. Kasi kung maisip nila, kung maituloy ito, masusukob sila sa isang fundamentalist na Islamic State actually ang gustong itayo ng MILF. Hindi ho ba?
Bukod pa doon, itong ginagawang pagkilala ng pamahalaan, ng kasalukuyang pamahalaan dito sa MILF habang hindi pa natatapos yung usaping MNLF, ito ang tinatawag nating reasoning in absurdity. Bakit? Kung meron ka ng usapan dun sa unang kinatawan na nakakarami, makikipag-usap ka dun sa kakaunting humiwalay dahil ng gulo, di sa susunod na may kaunti na namang manggulo, di makikipag-usap ka na naman. Wala nang katapusan iyan.
Walang garantiya
Walang
na magkakaroon ng third, fourth, fifth splinter
Walang
group.
garantiyang hindi magkakaroon noon.
Ang tinatawag nila dyan, MILF Junior.
In absurdity. Kaya nga, maling-mali na kung sino-sino ang kinakausap nila, gayong nakipag-usap na sila ng maliwanag doon sa Tripoli Agreement sa pagitan ng MNLF at pamahalaan.
Does the MILF represent the welfare of the Sultanate? Does the MILF represent the good welfare of
The Tausug.
the Tausugs?
We can say that the MILF is not the representative of the Tausug Sultanate of Sulu and Sabah, because the MILF doesn't have any member that can be called Tausug, because the MILF came from Cotabato, Lanao, and Maguindanao, including, of course, in that portion of southern Philippines. But they do not have members in the Sultanate of Sulu. The consequence of this is that Malaysia decided to support the MILF so that the chaos in Mindanao will continue, because they do not want the Muslims and Christians to unite to recover Sabah, because their illegal occupation of Sabah started since 1963 to this day. And the Malaysians are pumping illegally 1 million barrels of oil per day. And therefore, they would do everything possible and anything at all within their powers and limit to make certain that Sabah belongs to the illegal occupation of Malaysia.
So they are economic and political leeches in this sense.
Correct. So true.
Pakiulit lang yung sinabi ninyo dahil, Prince Kiram, maganda sinabi ninyo Ayaw ng Malaysia na magkaisa ang Filipino Muslims at Filipino Christians dyan sa Mindanao. Dahil pag nagkaisa ang Filipino Muslims at Filipino Christians, magiging isang malakas na bansa ang Pilipinas. At pag nagkaisa ang Pilipino, sino ang malalagot?
Malaysia will definitely feel the brunt of not only anger and hatred of the Royal Sultanate of Sulu and the Tausugs, but the Muslim population, including the Christian majority population of this country, because they know that Sabah belongs to them. And the illegal occupation of Sabah must stop, because Sabah should be bringing in more than 60 billion US dollars in gross national product to the Philippines. But because of the chaos and war in Mindanao, the Christians and Muslims are at loggerheads, killing one another.
At ang ibig niyong palabasin dito, mismo ang MILF, ayaw rin nila na yakapin at magkaisa ang mga Filipino Muslims at Filipino Christians. Dahil ang ibig nilang itatag diyan sa ilang parte o na mas pinalaking Mindanao, sa katimugang Mindanao, ay isang fundamentalist, isang extremist form of Islam. Tama ho ba ito?
Correct. Not only that the MILF doesn't want to unite with the Christian Filipinos, but you must appreciate that they now covet the arm that was designed and crafted for the Moro National Liberation Front, which, as you know, is the dominions of the Tausugs. Because majority of the members of the MNLF or the Moro National Liberation Front belong to the Tausug people. And why do they want Palawan, Sulu, as well as Basilan? First, because Palawan and Sulu are the places where you have the oil finds and gas finds in the Philippines. Now, why do they want Sulu? Sulu is the seat of the Royal Sultanate of Sulu and Sabah. And do you think the Tausugs will welcome the MILF, Maranaos, and Magindanaos to be their overlords?
Ano ang tawag po dyan? Sa mga taong nagpapanggap na sila dapat ang magpapatakbo sa isang lupain o tumangan sa kapangyarihan na hindi naman dapat sila ang kumatawan sa ganitong klaseng panunungkulan. Sa Biblia, ang tawag dyan mapag-imbabaw. Ewan ko lang, ano ho ba ang tawag dapat dyan?
Well, we can call them troublemakers. Because imagine they would like to be the overlords and rulers of the traditional ancestral territories of the Tausugs.
So they are like Malaysia. They have no
Oh,
title.
definitely.
They have no title over these areas at all.
No title at all. They are following the dictates of their paymasters. And Malaysia's dictate is to create chaos in the Sultanate of Sulu. Why? Because for as long as there is chaos in the Sultanate of Sulu dominions of Palawan, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, including Basilan, and of course Zamboanga, the Filipinos, Christians and Muslims could not unite. And therefore, they will go scot-free.
Two constitutional questions. They're talking about amending the IRMM. Obviously, that's a constitutional issue.
Yes.
Kasi malinaw nakalagay sa konstitusyon, ARMM ang pinag-uusapan. Okay. Number two, you're talking about a fundamentalist Islamic sub-state. Is that constitutional in a kind of Republican government that we have? Is that not violation of our non-adoption of a religion?
That is subversive of the Constitution.
I wanted you to say it.
The mere word sub-state
Okay.
is a subversion of the Republic of the Philippines.
Okay.
There is no such thing as sub-state because
Okay.
a state in law consists of 4 elements: the citizens, the territory, the government, and sovereignty.
Yes.
If you say sub-state, these 4 elements will have to be present in that state
Okay.
with their own version of citizens, their own version of territory, their own version of government, and their own version of sovereignty. So, it is as if we do not know what we're talking about if we ask for a sub-state, which is what they're talking about in these peace talks between MILF and the GRP panel. Sub-state is unconstitutional per se.
That's one point. Second point, ano yung pagplano nila, gusto nilang gawing isang talagang Islamic form of governance, itong magiging sub-state na ito? Hindi ba in violation of our constitution din yan?
Yes, number 1.
Kasi gusto nila magkaroon ng Sharia, talagang lahat ng batas na ipatutupad sa mga teritoryong hawak nila ay mapapailalim sa isang Sharia form of justice.
That is already in place.
Okay.
But the way they're putting it in their peace talks, they will would be violating the provision regarding the inviolability of the separation between church and state.
Yes.
You see, in truth, this is where we need constitutional reform insofar as our Muslim brothers in general are concerned. Because under Islam, your personal values as a follower of your religion cannot be separated from your values as a public servant, which is what is happening in the Republic. So that is where our Muslim brothers take issue with those who abide by the Constitution. Why? We cannot constitutionalize something that is their way of life since the 15th century. And that is the absurdity of a foreign-imposed constitutional provision. And but the point here is this. While this is the Constitution at present, we must understand that what the MILF is asking for is really a putting up of their own independent government without recognizing the Republic in its overriding sovereignty and in complete disregard of the undeniable sovereignty of the Sultanate of Sulu and Sabah. Those are the contradictions in their claim, and which is being patronized by the present administration of the Republic.
Question is, the government, the present government administration has been advised of this.
Then we can
Why
blame-
does it continue to pursue in this track? Fully aware of the
Yes.
dynamics between Malaysia, Sabah, the Sultanate.
Just a little history, Eric.
Yes.
Just a little history. We have now 4 or 5 presidents after President Macapagal, whom you mentioned, Diosdado Macapagal,
Yes.
a great president, a lawyer president, followed by another great
president.
and lawyer president, Marcos.
Parehong matatalino.
These 2 brilliant lawyers who became presidents had something in common, although politically they were at loggerheads.
Yes.
What was that something in common? They believed that Sabah is part of the Philippines.
Correct.
And this issue has been ignored by the succeeding presidents consistently. Cory, who is not a lawyer, did not give any priority to the Sabah issue. Ramos, who was a soldier but not a lawyer, did not recognize our territorial jurisdiction over Sabah. Erap did not have enough time to study it.
Yes.
And Mrs. Arroyo had 9 years, never mentioned the Sabah issue in
Okay.
her 9-year reign. And the present administration is oblivious also of the Sabah issue. But remember, this was among the outstanding issues raised by President Diosdado Macapagal
Correct.
and President Ferdinand Marcos.
And they were not ready and they were unwilling to bargain with the sovereignty of the Philippines.
That their stand there was very clear.
Aha.
President Macapagal, as you cited, was saying he had the foresight of a statesman.
Yes.
What did he say? This will be a boon.
Yes.
The reacquisition
Aha.
of Sabah will be a boon to the next generations of Filipinos.
Aha.
And our own innate sense of justice,
Yes.
our own innate sense of fairness,
And
was
future Filipinos are duty bound.
what
Yes.
motivated President Marcos to prepare, to take action to reacquire Sabah, but which was unfortunately aborted by a political expose regarding the supposed Jabida massacre, which catapulted the one who exposed it to political fame, whose son is now the president. But what the Filipino people must understand is the act of exposing it virtually killed the claim of the Filipinos over Sabah.
Okay, Republica will return after these few reminders. We're back with Republika at meron tayong katanungan dito para kay Prince Omar Kiram. How is the Tausug Nations taking the posture that the MILF is taking, claiming for themselves that they are the true representatives of the Bangsamoro?
Well, majority of the Tausugs have already exclaimed and stated that the MILF will not be welcome in the Sultanate dominions of Sulu, Basilan, Zamboanga, Tawi-Tawi, and Palawan. And that if the MILF will continue the desire to rule over the Tausug ancestral territories that they own since 1405, and then Sabah ceded to the Sultan of Sulu in 1658, that there will be more chaos and disaster to befall southern Philippines, because they will not accept to be ruled by outsiders.
How do you foresee this plan of the government trying to bring in the OIC? There was even attempts by the deposed leader, the son of Muammar Gaddafi, to try to talk to the MILF, to try to talk to the MNLF, to try to bring them all together. How do you see any future? The MNLF and the MILF finally coming together and then trying to bring in the Royal Sultanate in the middle. Do you see that happening, or it's like water and oil?
Well, let us look at the history of the Philippines in signing the 1996 peace agreement. That was in 1996. Today is 2012. And we are surprised that more than a dozen years passed, and the government was always, sitting down to keep on talking without implementation of the peace agreement. So we read the action of the government to wear out the Moro National Liberation Front through time, through continuing talks and meetings that never give any substance whatsoever. That is why, as you know, on the 18th of March, the MNLF chairman declared the independence of Mindanao because of their frustration on the lack of implementation from the Philippine government, succeeding governments of the Philippines, since 1966 to this day. Now, if the MILF will study the posture of the Philippine government, they must also know that the Philippine government will not be in a position to carry out any agreement they will sign with them, because they failed to implement the MNLF peace agreement of 1996. Now, we spoke to some luminaries in law, and they said that the government just want to actually stop any violence, any trouble in southern Philippines, because they're only there for 6 years. So in other words, they wanted to finish their term, and it's up to the next president or his presidency to deal with the troubles or problems that may ensue during his watch in office. So, if this is the case, we will see that there is no end to the charade that is created by Malaysia, because for as long as the Filipinos are disunited, for as long as the Filipinos fight a war in Mindanao, Malaysia is laughing all the way to the bank. They're pumping illegally 1 million barrels of oil per day. So, who cares whether the Filipinos, Muslims, and Christians kill one another every day? They do not care. Because as far as they're concerned, you kill one another, you Filipinos, we stay in Sabah, we pump your oil illegally every day, and thank be to God, we have over $100 million per day of your own oil.
Does the MILF see this? Or they're willing to swallow their honor, to swallow their nationality, and accept and embrace the Malaysian line?
Well, they already embrace fully, because the senior officers of the MILF are living in Malaysia. The chairman has got a palatial mansion
So, ibig mo sabihin,
near the University of Malaya, and all the negotiators as well as the senior officers of the MILF. They have their own mansions in Kuala Lumpur. So do they really care whether they serve the interests of the Muslim population of Mindanao? The answer is definitely no. Because they already are benefiting today.
so sinangla na nila, para silang naghuda, sinangla nila ang pagka-Pilipino nila. Sinangla nila ang pagka-Bangsamoro nila. Ganun ang parang lumalabas dito para yakapin ang interes ng isang dayuhan ng Malaysia. Ganun ho ba ang parang sinasabi nila?
That is the reality.
That is only one side of the coin.
Yes.
The other side of the coin is, while they embrace foreign interest, they also disregard Filipino interest.
E di dapat sinusuka pala ito ng Bangsamoro, dapat sinusuka ng mga Tausug, dapat sinusuka ng mga Filipino Muslims.
Isang tanong lang ang dapat itanong sa MILF.
Oo.
Are they claiming Sabah back for the Filipinos or not?
That should be the question.
They will not answer that question because obviously that will go against the interest of their patrons. Kaya nga ang tanong dun sa lahat na naging Pangulo ng Pilipinas, bakit hindi ninyo itinuloy yung laban ni Pangulong Diosdado Macapagal,
Yes, correct.
yung laban ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos?
Yes.
Si President Diosdado Macapagal, bar top notcher yan eh.
Yes.
Magaling na debater yan ng UST.
Yes, yes.
Tapos nag-aral siya ng 4 na taon bilang Pangulo.
Yes.
Si President Marcos, 20 taon.
Yes.
Sa 20 taon na yun, ano ang nakita niya? Sa atin, yung Sabah.
Yes.
Yan dapat bawiin.
Yes.
Ano ang ginawa ng mga kalaban sa politika na gustong sumikat?
Aha.
Ay, dinimonyo.
Aha.
They demonized President Marcos. But behind that demonization
Aha.
was the interest of a foreign power over Sabah, which is a patrimonial property of the Sultanate of Sulu within the Republic of the Philippines. Now, what the question therefore is, why are the presidents after Macapagal and Marcos willing to keep quiet, to shut their mouths up, to disregard the claim over Sabah? Why do they allow the Philippine map to be defined by baselines that exclude Sabah? Why? Because
Nabusalan sila ng pera.
during elections, they receive probably contributions which they need badly to win by exchanging favors such as not including Sabah in the Philippine map, and which is brainwashing the Filipino youth into accepting a fact that contradicts history and factual reality.
And so our people are expected to accept what is called a decapitated map without Sabah.
Yes, and
This is a decapitated map without Sabah. And ang tunay na mapa natin, dapat buo ito.
And the sad fact is, no less than President Noynoy wears a t-shirt showing a map of the Philippines that
Without
excludes Sabah.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Yes.
Then you are pro-Malaysia. You are not pro-history of the Filipino people. You are not pro-Sultanate of Sulu and Sabah.
Kaya nga kahit sabihin na natin hindi natin hawak ang Sabah, kahit sabihin na nating tinatayuan ng mga dayuhan, pero sapagkat yan ay teritoryo ng Pilipinas, ay dapat panindigan natin at dapat isigaw pa rin natin.
Katulad na nangyari sa East Timor.
Oo.
Sa malaon at sa madali, kahit hawak ng Indonesia ng pagkatagal-tagal, darating din sa katotohanan
Isinisigaw pa rin nila.
na susuportahan din ng United Nations kung ano ang tama ayon sa makatotohanang kasaysayan.
Ngayon, ang tanong, eto, siguradong magkakaroon ng plebisito, ipipilit yan ng gobyerno sa atin para lang magkaroon daw ng ganap na kapayapaan sa pagitan ng Bangsamoro. Pero yung Bangsamoro na yan, actually, ang ibig sabihin, ang magpapatakbo dyan sa katimugang Mindanao ay ang MILF. Sa suma total, wag na tayong maglokohan. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Ngayon, ang tanong, may mga nagsasabi, bakit ang plebisito lang, magaganap lang dyan sa mga lugar na yan?
Tama. Mali yung...
Hindi ba dapat ang buong Pilipinas ang
Tama.
dapat konsultahin sa bagay na yan? Dahil ang buong Republika, ang puputulan ng paa ang ng kamay. Ano ang sa pananaw po ninyo?
Ay, tama yung sinasabi mo, Eric, napakaliwanag. Yan ay dikta, hindi lamang ng saligang batas, hindi lamang ng kasaysayan, kundi ng common sense na tinatawag. Eh yun nga, napakaganda ng halimbawa mo, kung tatanggalin yung paa, tatanungin mo lang ba yung binti? Siyempre, kailangan tatanungin mo yung kabuuan.
Oo.
Kaya nga, hindi nga lang yun eh. Pati yung mga kamag-anak, tatanungin mo pa kung papuputol yung paa eh.
Yes.
Kaya ibig sabihin, yung mga kumikilala sa Sultanate ng Sulu at Sabah, yung Brunei, yung Indonesia, at yung iba pa mga East Timor, kailangan kukonsultahin din kasi kinikilala namin yung Sabah sa Sultanate of Sulu.
Yes.
So, kung hindi mo na ibibigay yan sa Sultanate, abay kailangan ipaliwanag mo kung bakit. At dapat ipaliwanag ng kasalukuyang administrasyon bakit hindi kasama sa top priority yung issue ng Sabah. Dahil kung ang sprat list lang ang pag-uusapan, maliit yung sprat list. Yung Sabah, higit na malaki kaysa buong Luzon. At kumikita na, ng katulad ng sinabi ng Grand Prince natin, ng 1 milyong barrels ng langis araw-araw.
At nandun ang mga tausog.
At bakit hindi pinipilit, hindi pinalulutang itong usaping ito at sino ang nakikinabang habang hindi ito pinapalutang? Di mga Malaysiano, di yung mga pumipigil sa paglulutang ng usaping ito, ito yung kakampi ng mga Malaysiano. At kilala na ng taong bayan kung sino yung mga pumipigil diyan sa usaping yan na naging centerpiece ng Macapagal at Marcos administration.
Ngayon, sabi ni Winston Churchill, look at the point because the point is looking at you. All the administrations after Marcos are quiet about this. Now, that begs the question, katulad ng sinabi ninyo, bakit masyadong tahimik? Bakit parang takot tayong harapin ito?
Hindi takot. Hindi takot. Ang takot, yung mga pinuno.
Okay.
Hindi naman mahirap isipin na may pakinabang sila dyan.
Oo.
Hindi natin wala tayong katibayan na nakikinabang sila, pero sa batas, kapag tahimik ka, gayong alam mo na may mali na nangyayari, may pakinabang ka.
Oo.
Yan ang pagpapalagay sa batas.
Pagdating sa China, malaking bansa, nandyan yung mga armas de fuego nila. Sinasabi natin, idaan natin sa usapang diplomasya. Bakit dito sa Sabah there is no diplomatic effort at all.
At all.
By the Philippine government in whatever capacity, in whatever representation to pursue the Philippine claim and even as far as the Royal Sultanate is concerned. We have a commitment to the Kiram family to protect their interest. Why is our government not undertaking any political effort from Congress, from the Senate, all the way to the palace?
We were told that they have million reasons to be silent on the Sabah recovery issue.
Million or billions?
Millions.
Millions.
Okay, is this in dollars or Malaysian dollars or US dollars?
Well, you were the one who reminded us earlier on that some presidents have bank accounts in Labuan.
Yes. Is that the reason why there was a time that the Proton car was introduced in Manila streets?
That could be one reason.
And because we had very good relations with Malaysia. Yes.
It is not difficult to understand, even from the ordinary or average citizen's point of view, why some leaders would choose issues. Kaya nga merong mga lobby groups kaya nga merong mga ibang party list. Kanya-kanyang issues. Pero yung Malaysians, gustong-gusto nila na mag-away kayo kahit anong issues. Mag-away kayo sa impeachment, mag-away kayo sa sprat list, wag lang Sabah. Ngayon, kung may tumutulong sa kanila, hindi mahirap isipin na may pakinabang sila sa Malaysia. Bakit? Pabor sa Malaysia yun sa kinikitang 1 million barrels of oil a day, $100 million a day, gasino na lang yung magtatabi ka ng $1 million para sa effort to keep the issue down outside of the consciousness of the ordinary Filipino sovereign citizens.
Yun ang sinasabi po ni Attorney Alan. This is the reason for this program. We want to continue this issue para lagyan ng pugon sa kaisipan and to keep it alive in the consciousness of our people. Dahil iba-ibang issue pinag-iisipan natin, eto na.
Correct.
Eto na ang sikreto sa bansa natin, hindi natin binagbibigyan ng tuon ng pansin.
Ano nangyari nung panahon ni Diosdado Macapagal? Dahil maingay siya,
Oo.
na balik yung Sabah sa Pilipinas, siniraan siya.
Oo.
Nanalo si President Marcos.
Oo.
Akala ngayon ng mga tao, akala siguro ng Malaysia, ito, bago na, natalo natin yung presidente.
Oo.
Tatahimik na to. 20 taon.
Oo.
Pero anong naging resulta
Mm.
ng pag-aaral ni Pangulong Marcos bilang Pangulo ng Pilipinas? Hindi niya maipagkakaila sa amin niyang Sabah. Kaya gumawa siya ng paraan. Ngunit ito ay naunsyami at ang tanong sa ating mga sumunod na Pangulo, ano ang posisyon ninyo tungkol dito sa pinaghirapan nitong dalawang Pangulong ito? Asan kayo? Kaya nga mabuti, nandyan si Senator Bongbong Marcos. Tiyak natin, pinag-aralan na niya lahat ng mga legal position ng nasira niyang ama, malamang may pag-asa na naman.
Aha.
Kung sakasakali na mabuhay ang usaping iyan, at alam ko na sila Grand Prince at saka sila Sultan Kiram, ay alam kong magbibigay pugayan kay Senator Bongbong upang mapag-usapan siguro na matulungan ulit mabuhay yung usapin na sinimula na pinagpatuloy ng kanyang magiting na ama.
Kumusta po ba dun sa Sabah? Hindi naman siguro talagang kontrolado politically ng Malaysia siguro ang Sabah dahil siguro dyan meron rin siguro mga galit, no, sa mga nangyayaring ginagawa dyan sa Kuala Lumpur dahil tulad ng nabanggit nyo na 95 o 98% na mga likas yaman din yan ay hindi nababalik sa Sabah mismo bagkus ay talagang inililipat sa Kuala Lumpur. So siguro malinaw na may galit itong mga tao din dyan, na dapat ito'y para sa amin pero ibinibigay sa iba.
95% of the Sabah riches, most especially from oil and gas, are siphoned off to Malaysia, to Kuala Lumpur. Only 5% is left to the Sabah people. The Malaysians are worried because the Taosugs are the majority population of Sabah. So they crafted this law, which is the anti-subversion law, that a meeting of 3 people can be regarded as subversive. They use that against the Sabah Tausug population or any population of ethnic groupings like Chinese and even the native Sabahans born in Sabah. As a consequence, of course, the anger and frustration of the Sabah people is vented out. That is why today you have the pro-democracy movement in Sabah, advocating for total democracy away from Malaysia. There are also groups, mostly Tausugs, who are advocating for genuine autonomy with the Tausugs of Sulu, so that they can become one people once more, since 1658 to this day. So you can see that the hold of Malaysia in Sabah is definitely looking to a detrimental end. And for as long as more Filipinos will realize that Sabah belongs to the Tausugs and the Filipinos, then Malaysia will be alarmed and worried of the realities that their days are numbered in Sabah.
Legal, political advocacies, what steps are we taking?
Well, the steps, this is a good step. This is a good outlet for advocacy of the reality, of the truth of the claim over Sabah, or not claim, or effort to recover or reacquire Sabah in favor of the Tausug people of the Philippines. Insofar as the legal is concerned, this is also this involves the exercise of active sovereignty by the Sultan of Sulu and Sabah, that it must assert itself by calling on all its subject Tausug nation to reacquire a consciousness of their proud tradition as a people under the leadership of the Sultan of Sulu.
Should the Sultanate issue an official statement with regards to the government's continuing negotiation with the MILF and what looks to be an intention to carve out a Muslim sub-state but under the dominion of the MILF?
That would be first unconstitutional. And secondly,
Should the Sultanate issue a statement
yes,
on that?
Yes, it will violate to sovereign dominions. The sovereignty of the Republic under the 1987 Constitution and the sovereignty of the Sultan of Sulu and Sabah, because the sub-state, the territory of the sub-state is within the dominion
Yes.
of the Sultanate of Sulu and Sabah, and that can be demonstrated by historic evidence.
Correct.
Prince Kiram, by final word, what can we expect from the Royal Sultanate? Are you coming out with an official statement? Are you studying the matter? Do we expect a statement very soon? Or are we going to expect that statement when a so-called peace agreement? Or should it be a treaty?
His Majesty Sultan Fuad Ikiram I, the 35th reigning Sultan of Sulu and Sabah, always states that the ancestral territories of the Royal Sultanate of Zamboanga, Basilan, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Palawan, and Sabah belong to the Taosugs. And therefore, the Taosugs, as people of the Royal Sultanate, must be the masters of their own destiny. And that we believe that the posturing of MILF to be the rulers of the Tausug ancestral dominions
Yes.
not only is unconstitutional, but it violates the rule of law because it is not the territories of their forefathers. Therefore, they cannot claim it as their ancestral domain or dominion. And we strongly suggest to them to stay in Maguindanao, to stay in Lanao, and to stay in Cotabato where they belong.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'd like to thank our guest. Sana po ay nakatulong po ang ating munting programa sa pagpupukaw sa damdamin at kaisipan ng ating mga manonood. Dahil wala pong ibang programa sa Pilipinas ngayon ang naninindigan sa isyong ito. Dahil malapit po sa aking puso ito dahil may kinalaman po ito sa ating bansa. Ito po si Eric Espina, nagsasabi palagi sa inyo, magmasid, makialam. Higit sa lahat po ay manindigan. Dahil wala pong magmamahal sa Pilipinas kung hindi ang Pilipino. Ako po, si Eric Espina, daghang salamat. Maayong gabi, kaninyong tanan.